ridiculous,
I find it
Piers.
bizarre that you don't think Donald Trump has also told a lot of lies in his life.
I just don't. I don't see it.
Have you heard from him since what happened to him?
No, I have not.
Do you expect to?
He's busy. He's running for president.
He spends his life on the phone.
I really hope I am not anywhere near the top 100 issues of Trump right now, because then I would be concerned.
Who's bothered to call you? Of any...
I receive calls from my colleagues in Congress repeatedly. I still have great friends there. I talk to them. Before I came here, I was on the phone with 3 of them. We're on the phone regularly. I built everlasting relationships with people on both sides of the aisle, not just Republicans. Just recently, a Democrat out of Florida calls me. He's at a mixer or whatever, and there was a couple of my constituents there giving him a hard time that he expelled me. And he's like, look, I have some of your supporters here, and they're mad at me. A Democrat.
Donald Trump was to win the election, and he might well, the way the polls are going.
I believe he will, by a landslide.
If he did, and he decided to bring you out of the cold, would you accept?
What does that mean?
Well, if he said to you, I've got some job in my administration for you.
I'd love to work
He might
for
look
him.
at you and think, a young, dynamic, gay Republican, all right, he's flawed, but so am I. All right, he's done some bad stuff, so did I. But I'm now back as president. I'm going to bring back George Santos.
I'd put it out there. I'd love to be ICE director.
Was that a serious thing?
That's serious. That's serious.
What would you do if you were?
I speak 4 languages. I understand logistics. I'm really good on my feet.
What would you do if you were the ICE director?
It's very simple. It's about re-strategizing ICE. First of all, assuming that the president would give ICE its power back, and assuming that we can go ahead and sue into oblivion all these sanctuary nonsense laws so that the federal government can do its job. Here's the problem with ICE today. ICE has been handicapped for decades at this point. Nobody has ever taken it serious. But I remember as a little boy, 13 years old, being on the 7th train in New York City that runs into Queens to Manhattan, and having ICE stops. Those were common right after 9/11 because they were picking up bad people on the train. Now, why don't we bring that back? I think it's time we act. New York City has probably the largest propensity of people living there with active removals proceedings, which means you have a deportation mandate on you, and they defy it and live blatantly in the open there. Just with the Joe Biden administration alone, 10 million came in 3 years. There's no way we have 12 million.
No, the situation on the border
It's ridiculous.
Is completely out of control.
Absolutely nonsense.
And Joe Biden has shown no ability to stem
Mayorkas is
the
even
tide
worse.
at all.
Mayorkas is a dereliction of duty. If you were to look up in a dictionary, dereliction of duty, it should be Alejandro Mayorkas' face in there now.
I mean, you talk of dereliction of duty. Do you think that you've been derelict in your duty?
No,
That's why you're sitting here now, because
I served every single day honorably. I didn't do anything dishonorable while in Congress. I voted honorably. The only votes I missed was when I had court dates. Couldn't control
George,
that.
you've been facing 23 federal criminal charges.
I've been accused of only things before I was elected, nothing after I was elected. I have been accused of nothing during my time as a member of Congress.
So you told no lies once you became a congressman?
I had no reason to. You can look at my record and
So what was the reason before?
Piers, like I said.
No, but I'm curious. I mean, you said I had no reason to.
What I'm trying.
But it does beg the question again. What was the reason before?
Okay, so poor choice of words, not reason. There was no need to lie or no.
What was the need before, George?
Again, Piers, I can go back and say
wrestle with your own thoughts.
There was no need, but do we all control stupid sometimes? No, stupid is stupid. You do stupid things and you can't control it, and you move past.
Here's the point I want to make to you, is that I can't help liking you. Right? There's something very likable about you as a person. I can't help it.
You're a good friend. That's what every friend of mine ever told me.
Well, yeah. So you have a lot of likable qualities. You're charismatic. You're good on TV. You know, you're clearly smart, right? You clearly got deep flaws. If you do want to make a comeback, and it sounds to me like you absolutely do, the way you talk about potentially running ICE may not be such a bad idea, right? You've got lots of energy for it. But if you were to ever even be considered for that, you'd have to tell people and show people that you changed. Do you think you're capable of that?
I'm doing it all this year already throughout my actions and moving forward. Do you think the one thing the American people have appreciated the most after I left Congress is me not being afraid to just call it like it is? I saw the sausage being made, Piers, and now I just want to share with everybody how the sausage is made and why we are in the predicament we are as a country. People are.
What would your mother have said to you about all this?
Oh, she would have smacked me to hell. Oh my
Would
God!
she?
Oh, she was a tough lady. You have no
She would have
idea.
physically smacked you.
Oh, she would have physically assaulted me.
Why?
It was unacceptable.
What was?
Everything, the whole thing was unacceptable. Even,
But what would she have found most egregious about your
just,
behavior?
I would just say the fact that I had to open my mouth and say anything that wasn't true, she would have just beat me to a crisp. She would have pulled out a wooden stick. You don't know that woman.
Did you ever lie to her?
Oh, I knew better than to do that. I knew better. Oh, I definitely knew better. The one time I did, I caught a beating, but it was white little lie. Where were you? Oh, my friend's house. No, you weren't. I went there and you weren't there. Okay, whoops. So things teenagers do, nothing crazy.
Does your father have the same attitude to truth?
My father is the most honest man you'll ever meet.
So this is, again, fascinating to me. You've got two parents who sound like honesty is a real premium to them.
Honesty, hard work, stay, very big deal for both my parents.
Do you feel like you let them down?
Yes. Yes.
Do you miss your mother? I mean, it sounds like she was hugely important to you.
Absolutely. Not a day goes by. 7 years, December 23rd, that I lost my mom. 7 years that feel like yesterday.
Do you talk to her ever?
I talk, you know, you're going to call me crazy, but yes, every night before I go to bed, I throw some words up there, and I hope she's always listening.
What do you say?
I just talk about whatever the day went or how I'm feeling, and just like part of my prayers. Believe it or not, I'm actually a praying man still, very much.
Do you think what's happened to you would have happened if she'd stayed alive?
No. No, it wouldn't.
Because you wouldn't have been able to...
She would have guided me much better. That was my compass right there.
Sad.
Absolutely. It's sad. It's really sad. Piers, life is sometimes full of twists and turns, ups and downs, and I'm not immune to it. Nobody's immune to it. We all go through it, and I believe we all come back stronger from controversy or from a situation like this.
George, if you end up going to prison, and obviously there's a possibility you're facing very serious charges, if you do you think you could handle it?
I don't know, Piers.
Have you thought about that?
I try not to think of negatives like that. I try to think of as positive as humanly possible. I'm 35 years old. I trust the process. I have not been somebody critical of the DOJ, unlike some other colleagues of mine. I always have given our organizations, our entities, FBI, DOJ, CIA, credibility, because the moment I lose faith in them, I lose faith in this entire country. So, but I do trust the process, and I'm going to fight it.
What's your biggest regret about the whole thing?
I have many regrets.
What's your biggest?
If I could do it all over again, I'd do it very differently.
What would you do differently?
My story is compelling as is.
Right.
As is.
You remind me a little bit of the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, when I interviewed him.
It's from my district.
You didn't need to embellish your story.
Maybe the way I look at it is God had intended a different path, maybe. That's the only thing I can say. I believe in I'm faithful, so I believe in there's always a reason why things happen a certain way. So maybe I was destined to go do other things, learn a little bit about what's in there so I can come out here and open the eyes of the American people and maybe start a revolution, a political revolution that we really have to have in this country.
What's your final message for people watching this?
Don't count me out. You know, I've given many people a second chance, and I'm asking everybody to please give me a second chance. And I will, you know, come forward and prove to be worth your second chance. And I just want people to look at that and say, so many people make mistakes. We all make mistakes if you really take a look deep inside. And I'm sorry. And I look forward to continuing to be a voice for those who seek leadership in me.
George, it's good to see you again.
Yes,
and I wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
Whatever happens.